my name is Klodian Pasku. I go by Klod in US. Originally I'm from Albania, born and raised there. And that's where my first dates of spirituality, in a way, it did started. So I remember I was around 14, 15 when I first started having like questions to myself. What is universe? What is death? What is beyond it? But the funny thing is that in our country at that time was a communism regime. So there was no religion. You had no opportunity to have any spiritual quests. And just like a miracle, I met this guy completely by chance. We're at the beach. He's like around a couple years older than me. We meet, we're kind of playing soccer and playing cards. I spontaneously asked him some questions. He's like, oh, I know about Kundalini. And he's like talking to me about this and about that. His name is Alban Rabo. And he actually did meet Shri Mataji before that. So I felt like a deep connection with this guy. Like, oh my God, I'm not going crazy. There is somebody who so spontaneously is answering all my questions. And that's where like my real journey started. 92, 93. So it was still close. We were just like the communism had broke through. So they were a little bit more liberal, but was not any religion or anything going on. And he suggested me a few books about yoga, about spirituality and this and that. And we didn't have anything about Shri Mataji at the time. He just mentioned a little bit about Kundalini. When he mentioned a few books, I went to the library to pick them up. And I find these books. It was about, this guy is called Yoga Ramakaraka. That was his name. And he wrote like a biography about different yogas and what yoga is about. But the only problem is that this book were in Italian. So I went and studied Italian. So because I needed to read this book so bad. And that's what I did. I learned how to speak Italian in a few months. And that's when I kind of got detached from society in a way. Everything else, it just didn't really make sense to me anymore unless there was something truth into it. And that's where your path with yourself starts. The journey goes that mother comes in Greece in 1999, and this guy Alban, my friend, right? Because we became good friends, being like the yogis together, doing meditation in our own way, nothing like Sahaj way yet, But we did recognize that there is this guru, this is this huge thing going on, so we better figure this thing out. That's where we are like decided to go. It was a last minute decision. Oh, she's here, we need to go. We go there. We didn't exactly know where the puja was. Puja was in Delhi, but we are in Athens. Delhi is like, and I'm really like a few hours away from Athens. But we figured out that there are posters all over and saying that mother is going to have a program this day in the hotel where she was staying. And we go to the hotel. And that's where we waiting in the lobby, and here she comes. She's coming in a wheelchair, and Yogi Maharaj was with her. And she saw us when these guys in front of me coming, right? And somebody is like, oh, you guys don't have flowers? We're like, no, we don't have flowers. It's like, here you go, you got some flowers. So we get the flowers there, and she got so happy and so trying to figure out what's going on. And we came there, and then we offered her the flowers. And she's like, who are you? Who are you? And we're like, well, mother, we are a few yogis from Albania. She's like, oh my God. And she told him, what did I talk to you about in the car? What did I ask you? She's like, yeah, mother, you were asking about Albania. And she's like, you see, and here's yoga from Albania. She's like, I definitely want to talk to you. I want to know you more. Please come upstairs in my room. And we made it. Was a little tough because people are very protective. No, mother is tired, you can really go. We're like, well, she told us. Well, if she told you, then wait, or no, wait. And then we get cold. And we go in there. Alban did a full talk with her, they knew each other for a long time. And actually she's like, you have no ego. Because he did ask her, he is like, mother, what did ego appear from? She's a very good question. And she's like, reaction. You do react. And you get the ego. You go left or you go right. That's it. Something happened, just don't react. And you don't get the ego. And that's what she's like, by the way, you have no ego. And it was really, really good. So from that, we did start the program in Albania. Like every time you put a glance back, it's been like, 20 years, 22 years. Every time you see back to that, you still get something out of it. You still try to understand what that meeting was. I just was completely empty. I couldn't really think. I didn't know about thoughtless at the time, like you have to be thoughtless. But that's exactly what I was. And actually she asked me, she's like, so what do you do for a living? I didn't know what to say. I'm like, I am with him. Because in fact, I was with him the whole time. Like he was kind of like my teacher because he was a little bit more advanced and me more settled. So I did follow him for everything. And she's like laughing. She's like, okay, I can tell you have very good vibrations. I mean, that's what I take out of it, right? But I would say when you go back and you think what there was a sense of respect and a sense of gratitude and love. Like unconditional love, just love to be around, So that when I know, I'm like, okay, you are not my guru anymore. Now she is my guru from now on. So that was kind of thing, like a real beginner.